Hello, dear one. I'm not very astute in astrology or numerology, but I do listen to a number of people that I feel I can trust, I resonate with. And it looks like we moved through a big portal yesterday, the 999 portal. And nine is the number of ending. And so yesterday was apparently a big energetic shift. We have all these different portals during the year. I had not heard of this one before, but there seems to be something about it. It was, 9, September 9, and then 2025, which is also a 9. So it seems that we have come to the end of a certain cycle. And now we are moving into a whole new one. And I want to just ask you, can you feel, are you aware that a lot of things are changing, that maybe you're getting more present in yourself? You may be more conscious of things going on inside and outside of you. It's like there is a new wave, a bigger wave of consciousness coming in, and also for us to be experiencing that and embodying that. And the way I see it is as we're moving into a whole new phase, and also I've heard a lot of people talk about that the end of 2025 is going to be huge, huge shifts happening. So if this is all true, we all have to go by our own experiences. And if there's no resonance in what I say or what others say, then it's probably not for you. It's fine. You can go and find something that does resonate with you. But what I have been experiencing here for a while, it's almost like that separate sense of self, that sense of self that feels separate from the divine, right? On my own, nothing to support me, have to figure it all out on my own. Scary, lonely, whatever it is. So many of us still have some of that programming in us, or maybe a lot of it. And and then the true self of who we really are is coming more on board. It's coming more alive. We're becoming more aware of it. And that means we can feel that there is some kind of an expansion. There is something here that has always been here, but we were not really paying attention to it. And of course, that is our our I am presence. Every time we say I or I am, most of the time we are not aware what we're actually referring to. We are referring it to that separate sense of self. And that is where there is a disconnect, because that one is just, it's a figment in the mind, we can say, even though it feels more real and true than anything else. So, it's something that you will start waking up to in your own journey, on your own journey. So you can say, yeah, that's actually true. But if it's not your experience yet at this point, you know, don't try and make it so, because you can't. You can't force yourself to wake up. You can't push your I am presence up to the surface. And you can't really push that separate sense of self out to the side, because the one that is doing that pushing is the separate sense of self. We can also call it an ego. An ego is just a part of us that thinks it's separate from the whole. And because of that, it thinks it needs to do all these things in order to survive and be safe and be loved, right? So when we start realizing that that is not who we are and start focusing on who we truly are, then we are feeding that part of us. And because we're feeding it our energy and our awareness, we will become more and more aware of it and present with it. And the less we pay attention to that separate sense of self, we're kind of starving it, right? We're not feeding it anymore. So it just starts like deflating a little bit. And this one starts growing. And what I'm experiencing here lately, which is absolutely delicious, is that this I am is so much more real and present than anything else. But I'm still aware of this flavor of pernilla, right? The separate sense of self. I can still definitely experience that part of myself, but I'm not very interested in it. So what I'm feeling now that as these energies are really supporting the journey to full awakening, realization of who we truly are, it's as if we can allow ourselves to really expand into who we are, truly are. And that expansion also goes into that contracted, separate sense of self, where we're not trying to get rid of it, trying to fix it, making it wrong, whatever it is that we've done for so long. Now we are realizing that this little thing here on the side is coming to the end. It's coming to an end because it cannot survive in this much higher frequency. This is very dense, it's very contracted, it's very limited, it's terrified. And when the more I bring the frequencies that are more available now to be present with my true self, it has a strong impact on this little contracted pernilla on the side, where there's an expansion that happened because I'm not trying to fix her, change her, or get rid of her. I am just breathing into her or into that part of us that we have been identifying with for so long. There is something that I'm aware of is that there is a willingness to let her, to set her free. I did talk a little bit about it the other day. It was more relating to belief systems and addictions, I think, where there's the invitation to let it come up and just expand out by breathing out and saying these simple words like, yes, I want you to be free also, whether it's an addiction or a belief. And today I want to basically include that whole identity that we have been feeding and hating and pushing and all the things we've done where it's lived in this terror, right? This fear. And can you find it in yourself to just be willing? You may not know how, well, you will not know how, but is there a part of you that feels ready to let that whole structure go and set that part free? It's a deeply, deeply loving act. It's not this old way, getting rid of my ego. No, not at all. It's a deeply loving act of setting this imprisoned character that we have referred to and identified with as me. I want you to be free. It's kind of like this frozen drop, right? That's lived in this density and coldness. And then the ocean says, come here, sweetheart. Let yourself just drop in and I'll catch you, the whole drop. And you will melt into the ocean of oneness, where there is no separation, there is no coldness, frozenness, density. So this is what when I sometimes feel parts that are still active or activated in me, I really just like, yeah, that's that whole separate sense of self. And I have identified with that my whole life. And I'm willing to set you free. I want you to be free, to be expanded. And in that, it's almost like I am letting her out of that contraction that I've held myself in my whole life. So there is a willingness. You can just see if you can follow me, if you can find that part, that whole structure of the identity that you call you. This is not for everybody today. I'm just putting out, my little videos, and some things resonate with some people, some things resonate with others. Today, I want to just expand a little bit of this previous video and just see if you can find a place in you where you are ready and willing to set yourself free. And what does that mean? Well, that means that you will surrender. You surrender that part in exchange for full freedom. You have to give up the density and the contraction in order to be the expansion and the fullness. So there has to be some kind of a willingness to surrender this contracted cold drop into the ocean of warmth and oneness and love. And I think that we are more able to do that now than we were even a day, a week, a month, a year ago, because the frequencies keep expanding. And that means that we are expanding because we are not separate from the frequencies, but we are making ourselves more available to it. So take a breath with me right now. And just a way of allowing yourself to expand that density called you, your name, your identity. And can you say to that part, I want you to be free too, all of you. Would it even be possible to surrender that separate sense of self-identity completely? Because we've been doing it in all these little parts, right? We've been unhooking and letting go and softening, all these different parts. Very important work. So I don't think that everybody can do this right away, but maybe you can, or maybe you would like to. Maybe this is your next step, to just say, okay, I'm actually willing to surrender the drop, the frozen, dense drop called your name, and let it drop into this warm, flowing water. Just see if you can feel any kind of willingness or a yes. Yes, I'm willing. And if you can feel that yes, and feel that yes, I'm willing, you will notice that it's actually that sense of yes goes into your field as a ripple effect. And then the field, of course, will come back to you. It doesn't really come back, but that's the words that are used in, in the, what's it called? The law of attraction and all these things, like, right? So it's helpful for the mind to say, okay, if I say deep yes to fully surrender my separate sense of self, and take a moment and just feel this. You can feel the yes, and that feeling will automatically ripple out. And then the field will confirm that back to you, where it's going to be easier and easier to just, when any sense of separate sense of self arises, you will have more and more power or ability to say, yes, you can be free too, all of you. And then you take another deep breath. So you're willing, you're cooperating with your I am presence to liberate that part of you that's been working so hard to be free, doing so much deep work, and bless our hearts that we've done that. But just to consider for today, would it be possible to open up for that whole separate sense of self to be set free so that you can fully be who you already are without that density as if you're separate from the whole? Let me know if any of this makes sense. I sometimes I ramble a little bit, but this is very alive in me. And then when I start talking about it, I get more clarity in it, about it myself. And hopefully a few of you, maybe many of you, will resonate. And please comment below. Please like and share if it resonates. And I always love hearing from you. All right, my friends, wishing you a beautiful day.